Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Puff Drink Talk podcast. I am Hilton.
I'm George.
And I'm Arthur.
Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about World Cup.
Yeah.
How everything is going on and what's happening and a few other things maybe.
There's so many aspects to cover, so many interesting and polemic topics, right? But before
Maybe.
anything else, please, if you're listening to us, don't forget to subscribe, like,
And comment.
and comment. We are also on Spotify, so don't forget to follow us and tell your friends about us. And tell your enemies if you don't like them. Right? Speaking about enemies or nemesis, Arthur, what's your first impression of the first phase of the World Cup?
I'm liking it. If I want to talk about the fact that I'm not able to attend because it's too expensive, that's going to suck.
Is it? I haven't heard. Is it expensive?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't know if you guys can relate to that because this is probably the World Cup I've had most memory of. But I see a lot of diversity on the stadiums. A lot of people from different countries and, different backgrounds, and I just thought that's cool. It's cool to see all the Norway people, doing the rowing. That's amazing.
Have you seen them? Have you seen the rowing? Are your kids already obsessed with the rowing your way to the World Cup?
I did not see that
Okay.
at all. I only watched Brazil's game and some of the other games. I had that on the background on my computer.
Yeah.
I wasn't even watching,
Too
so I
busy.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Too
no,
busy.
I just saw that on Instagram. So if you want to pull up the video, it's nice. But it's basically
You can see like, in a
Norway
second,
has
yeah.
kind of a chant, and they just all do a pulling.
They
a
all sit
row.
down on the floor, right?
And they do a row, and it's amazing. They did it on the stadium, but they also did it on Times Square, and it's crazy to see 10,000 people
Sitting
down on Times Square and rowing
on the streets of New York.
It's amazing.
If you
It's
put it there in
amazing.
New York, I think it's what was it? Where was it in New York? Was
Times
it
Square.
Times Square.
Times Square, yeah.
Exactly.
Is it Norwegian?
Yes, Norwegian
Yeah.
rowing World Cup. You can
So-
put it like New York.
Oh, this one's Times Square.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
that
exactly
one.
the one
Exact
I'm
one.
talking about, yeah.
So look at this wave. Look at this. Look at it. All sitting on the floor, man. This is ridiculous.
That's funny.
And they're whoa, right? So then they keep accelerating,
Yep.
typical chants, tribal chants and something like this,
Yeah,
right?
but using that as an example, I don't remember seeing the World Cup in Qatar, the last one, as diverse as this one. Seeing different people and seeing people doing this, I feel like the U.S. gives us kind of a freedom that other World Cups weren't giving us, or the fact that we can all come here,
Yeah, there were several hindrances. There were several rules that you had to follow, unspoken rules you had to follow if you are in Qatar. We know freedom is not their stronger suit, right? Their stronger suit. So, so now in the U.S., of course, despite all the hostility of the of the administration in the beginning of the World Cup, how they would tough it up, I think it didn't translate into problems into this World Cup. I watched 2 videos. I think I sent you. Among others, of course, it's nobody watches what other people send nowadays. We don't have time.
Come on, I watch all the ones you sent me. Come on.
That also probably is to try to, come to terms with whatever we're thinking of. But over here in the U.S., there is already a lot of people from all over the world living here, right? So, and the same is if the World Cup would be in UK, it's a lot of people go there. So you find a lot of people from everywhere. And not only that, but it's also close to Europe, so it's like a short drive kind of thing. But over here, there is a lot of people here already from all over the world. So then, yes, you're going to see that.
What surprised me is that I've heard this. I just checked it, and then the Ecuador, where most players are black, but the whole supporters are not. I know that because my friends, the friends that I know that went to the games are, of course, the top 1%, maybe less. I would say 0.1% of Brazilians. So it is a very, very, very unaffordable, expensive, right? A World Cup, and it surprises me to see last night when Argentina was playing, 77,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, 99%.
It was 100%. It was like a full, absolutely full attendance, and it's going to be for every game. I thought at that price people would budge. They would say, I'm not going to do that. And I was even planning to go to places in order to try to, to get a bargain or something. I still want to go, but I don't think I'm going to get the bargain. I thought you saw it. Some tickets going down in prices. It's likely, right?
So I was like looking in Brazil's game in Houston, and like right away when Brazil classified, it was like 2,000. Right now you can get one for 1,400. So it's getting a little lower at least.
1,400, man. Think about it.
It's still a lot of money, to be honest with you, to watch,
Everything here gets
1 hour or no 1 hour, 2 hours.
An hour and a half, to 2 hours.
I think we also have the same phenomenon with that Formula One when they start running here, like Austin, Miami, and Las Vegas, right? I think they're top 5 or top 6. I know that Miami and Las Vegas are from the 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
But Austin is not cheap too. We are trying to buy the tickets, and man, we are struggling to find something. And I kind of start to understand your point, understand your point, because if I have to pay 1,000, 1,500 to watch it, I'm gonna watch it with the statistics at home with my friends, drinking my coffee, smoke my cigar, having have friends over, barbecue and everything. And I'm gonna save 1,300.
Well, one ticket pays for a party of 10 people.
Yeah, easily.
And there's still money left over. So there's one thing that the U.S. Is good at. It's putting up a show, right? So they know how to do it, and therefore they charge a lot of money for that. So the 3 most expensive tracks to go and watch a F1 race is in the U.S. So you'd only think that the World Cup over here would be probably the most expensive World Cup ever.
It is.
Just because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the American businessman mentality. There's a lot of marketing. There is a lot of investment, and they want to profit a lot. And then they know that entertainment brings a lot of money.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then they go and they charge more for it. And kudos to them, because it doesn't look like it's expensive, because, to be honest, it's filling up the stadiums. So if people can afford, of course, not us, because we think consciously, whatever the word is, we are conscient about spending that kind of money, right, on a sport event.
So camera on me.
Okay, camera on you.
So what's Hilton is trying to say basically is that it's not that the tickets are expensive, that you are poor. No, he's not saying that. Of course, he's not saying that. But yeah,
I am saying that.
You probably you're probably feeling that way. You're not alone out there. We have 3. We have 3 people here who stand by you, and we understand, like 1,500. So, Arthur, what was the price again of the, I think the box for 22 people for a regular game? What game was that?
That was
Saudi
Arabia and Cape Verde.
And Cape Green, right? Cape Verde. Yeah.
It was like 75K for 22 people.
All right, that's
a lot of money.
Yes, 17,000 reais per person for
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I guess there's a full entertainment going on there.
Yeah, and you also get like open bar, open food. Like you gotta count that on, But still, it's way too much money per person. It's like, it is crazy.
But that's the thing. If people are buying, it means So remember, products and prices, right? The price that is nothing to do with the cost, right? We remember that in, capitalism.
101.
Yeah. Economy, right?
Marketing, business
So
101.
price has nothing to do with cost. Some people don't even pay the cost of a product because they
Yeah.
don't see the value in it. So even though it costs more than what it can sell for, so that product is not worth it. So it doesn't go to the market and then ends up like washing, right? So disappearing. So if you put the price to $500, you're gonna have 20,000, a million people wanting to go and watch, right? So how many people in the stadium? 77,000.
70. Yeah, it
Let's
depends on
say
the size.
100,000. Let's say 100,000.
I think
so
that 78,000 is. There is one. There's more, but it's going to be between 60 and 80,000, 85,000.
For the sake of my example, let's call it 100,000. So you got a million people wanting to go if it is $500, and then if it's 1,000, and then it's going to be 800,000 people wanting to go, and then they put the price to 1,000. And then they're gonna be 600,000 people wanting to go. Oh, let's put the price to 2,000 and see. And then 100,000 people want to go. That's good. That's all we want. We want those 100,000 people that can pay that amount of money, and then we put it in there. So they have a limited amount of seats.
Yeah.
So it's a problem because soccer here, but football, it should be. It is historically an accessible forms of sport, right?
I feel that is a problem.
But then it's not accessible anymore over here in the U.S.
Oh, so listen, two things here, right? One, we've been seeing since the 90s, since all the, the accidents and the violence from the late 80s and beginning of 90s, English teams were banished from Champions League because of the Anfield tragedy, right, where 111 people died.
The hooligans.
I don't know if you remember this. Okay, so the English teams were prohibited to play in the Champions League for 5 years. I think it was last at the end, but they were, and then they were they were forced to overhaul all the stadiums. That's why, to remember that at Inter, they had the Korea. Like the area where it could stand thousands of people. Like they couldn't even see the game. Once in at Beira Rio in Porto Alegre, there were over 100,000 people. Today you can't seat 60,000.
No, it's like
55,000.
No, less than 55. It's like 50, almost 51.
So think about this. It was 100,000 people or more, and now it's half of it because of all the seats. Right? It's an all-seat stadium now. We had to adapt to the World Cup.
Yep.
So 20, 30 years after, 25 years after the problems in England, right? So there was this thing, and then at that moment, they saw an opportunity to, hey, let's make the tickets. We got to make it up, by increasing the prices of seats, products, shirts, like jerseys, and every all the paraphernalia that comes with sports. And then we had the first hit, right? And then you saw the leagues, the salaries going up. So I picked up the data from, I think I mentioned that to you, how much the players' salaries, annual salaries, we're talking about annual here always, how much they increased since then, right? So the top players were making $3 to $5 million at the time. Was Romário. Romário was making $4 million at the time. Maradona too, was at the end of his career, but of course that all these players at the end of the career, like Cristiano Ronaldo, now they are making more. So it was $4 to $5 million at the time. Today's Cristiano Ronaldo with $300 million, and then the second place is just like Messi and Mbappe, right? Yeah, I think those Kane too. But there's like less than 100 million, right? But think about it's like 25, 30 times since 1994. Okay, I'm comparing, just to make it sure it's clear, I'm comparing the prices and salaries from 1994 when the World Cup happened in the US and 32 years later when it happened now again in the U.S., right? So in a gap of 32 years, the salaries of the top 10 players went from less than $1 million to $4 million a year to $40 million to $300 million. So that's at least the worst case scenario is going to be, as you can see here, 40 times, okay? 40 times the players are making more. Second, the price of the tickets. The price of the tickets, right? The basic one was actually, the basic one here for the World Cup, it's actually cheap. It's $60, but it's 0.1% of the tickets. At that time, it was whatever, $25, but it was like 20%. So we're talking about 200 times more seats at the lowest price. Now we're talking about 200 times less seat at the cheapest price.
So there is tickets that cost like 65?
Yeah, but 0.1, they were given away or bought the very beginning for a specific group demographics.
And it's also because like when FIFA opened the lottery and you could get like the tickets, like the most expensive ones were probably like 600. If we're not talking like the VIP areas or like boxes or anything, they were probably like $600 or $700, which is like doable. But the problem is that like those tickets are gone, and now people are reselling them for like 3 times the price.
Oh, I see.
So that's the biggest problem. Like when they were like just sold by FIFA, they were like okay, I would say. Like, you know, it's what you expect from a World Cup, especially knowing how the US market works, you know. But nowadays that you're like people reselling them, it's so expensive.
Yeah. There is I did a Google search yesterday because I was watching the Argentina game, and there's so many advertisements with Beckham in it. And then I did a Google search and to see how much money his deal was, and then it's not quite clear, but they said what Google said. I mean, when on the search, it was like $25 million.
Yeah.
As an estimation. And then I did a search on how much money Messi would be making by playing the World Cup, which is the same period of time, and it was $12 million.
Yeah,
and then I was like, geez, the guy that used to play is not playing the World Cup anymore. He's making twice as much by being on the bench. Or not on the bench, on the
that's right.
on the VIP area watching. You know what I mean?
That says a lot. Look at this. In 1994, top stars, the main players, right, which were in the finals, which is Roberto Baggio, Romario, right? They were making $3 to $5 million, including all the endorsements. So that's not only salaries; there's endorsement together. Okay, this means a lot. And then you also have a Stojkovic, right? Stojkov and Dennis Beckham. Okay, Beckham, which is one of the most skilled players I've ever seen play, $3 to $5 million. Right now, Cristiano Ronaldo makes $300 million, number 1, and number 10 is Harry Kane with $41 million. So so it confirms what we said. Now, another thing that is important. You see, 1994, the basic ticket was $25, right? The cheapest ticket that which today would be equivalent to $56.
Yeah.
And the cheapest ticket in 2026 is $60, but the problem is how much it has available on that. But here comes the kick. Right, here comes the kick. The most expensive ticket sold in 1994 was $100, in the finals, right? Was $180, and now it's $10,000. So that's $2,369.
But is that the resale price or is that original FIFA price?
It doesn't say here. It doesn't say here. It doesn't say. Still, for us, that's $10,000. You won't buy it for less than $10,000 for a decent seat. It says here, the cheapest ticket for the finals.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing that I measured also was the average income. The average income from Americans in 19, a family, average. The average was $32,264 per year. Now it's 84,000. So that's 160%, right? So the salary actually was better than the inflation. The inflation was at 125%. Salaries actually went up 100. The average was 160. Of course, we know there's a lot of discrepancy, so I don't want to get into that. But you see that how come people's salary went up by 160 and tickets went over 2,000%. It's a different spectacle. It's a different show, of course. More safety, more fun. But is it worth it 10 times what you can make it?
Do you think it is worth it going to watch the football
Yeah.
in a stadium and World Cup? Is it overpriced? What do you think? Put that on their comments. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cool.